Ring of Honor's final battle is this Friday, and it's gonna be an interesting card for sure. But before we go into that, there is a dark match on the show. I guess they added a dark match on here, which actually is on the list here, which we'll go through very quickly. Cheeseburger versus Brutal Bob Evans. They used to be a tag team called Brutal Burgers, and they recently actually a couple of months ago they broke up, and they had a great match, which was with a table. They went through the fucking table, and then they had Cheeseburger have an upset win over Bob Evans. So it's interesting because this is basically a rubber match, but it is a dark match, or they might put it on television. You don't know. It just depends on what they want to do. If they want to put it for a TV taping down the road, they might tape it anyway. So we'll just see what happens here. But with that being said, Cheeseburger has had an upset before. He'll do it again. I pick Cheeseburger all the way. First off, let's go to the main card, bottom of the top here. First off, we have Dalton Castle versus Silas Young. Last time at All Night Extravaganza, they had a match for the boys, and Silas won the boys, made them men, brought in the Beer City Bruiser, made them men, and basically had them turn on Dalton last week on television. And with that being said, it depends if the Bruiser and the boys are ringside. If the boys and the Bruiser are ringside, then Silas will probably win. If not, and it's one-on-one for sure, then Dalton will have a chance. Next up, we have Alex Shelley, Matt Sydal, and ACH versus The Addiction, Daniels and Kazarian, and Chris Sabin. Now, over the past few weeks, we've been seeing a man in a KRD mask. He's not a KRD member, but he's had this mask stolen for the past few weeks, and has been looking around, moving like Sabin. And Sabin actually called him out last week on television, a week or two ago maybe. And they had the reveal of Alex Shelley and the former Motor City Machine Gun tag team partners on the same ring at the same time on opposite sides. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens here. They're just bringing him in for pay-per-view at this point. They brought him in for television as well, and they're debuting him, so it would make sense for Shelley, Sydal, and ACH to win, especially since ACH and Sydal had a Best of 5 series recently, and now they are more fluid as a team more than ever. Speaking of tag teams, the Briscoes, Jay and Mark Briscoe versus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, versus the All Night Express, Rhett Titus and Kenny King, in a three-way number one contendership match to determine the number one contender for the ROH World Tag Team Championships. This one's very interesting because you can go a lot of ways with this. And it depends when this match will take place. If it's at Wrestle Kingdom 10, then it could be the Young Bucks because they want to have the Young Bucks because they already have them in New Japan. It depends on where this match will take place. They haven't said where it will take place yet. They maybe will this Friday. But with that being said, I don't know here. The only logical situation here is Kenny King and Rhett Titus and the Briscoes cancel each other out and the Young Bucks win. It's probably that simple. Next up, the Moose versus Michael Elgin, with Moose having Stokely Hathaway in the ringside. Now that could be interesting because Hathaway has not been known to get involved, but these are two fucking bulls here, and it would be wise for Mr. Hathaway not to get involved here. But Elgin recently won the Survival of the Fittest tournament, giving him a World Championship match where he chose to be at Wrestle Kingdom 10 in Japan. So it depends really if you want to do here, because Moose has only lost once in his career. Only once. So it only makes sense for Elgin to get the win and for Elgin to look strong heading into Japan. Next up, Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly in a grudge match. For those who are just keeping score, Kyle O'Reilly at this point is one half of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. So with that being said, it honestly depends on what they want to do with this match. I mean, Kyle, with this match, they had Adam Cole screw over Kyle O'Reilly at Death Before Dishonor in a world title match for a while back, and at this point, it really depends on what they want to do. I mean, I don't know here. I would say Fish wins at this point. just based on they're not going to have Cole win. That's probably just what I feel here. Speaking of Ray Dragon, the other half of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions faces Roderick Strong for the Television Championship. Now with that, it's interesting because Roderick Strong won the belt before they moved to Comet TV. So if you're wanting to have Roderick Strong as a great television champion, winning the belt from Jay Lethal, and honestly, I'm surprised Lethal doesn't have a rematch here, yet he's defending the title against AJ later on, so it makes sense for him not to do double matches at this point. He'll probably have it down the road, but I doubt it. With this, though, it's interesting because, I mean, he just won the belt, so it depends on what they want to do. If they want to have him lose the belt to Fish, Fish would be a great television champion, but I don't think it's his time yet. Roddy just won the belt, so it wouldn't make sense for him to lose it. Next are the tag team titles of the world. The Kingdoms, Matt Bennett and Michael Bennett and Matt Taven, rather, versus with Maria McKinless at ringside versus War Machine, Hanson and Rowe. Like before, recently on All-Star Extravaganza, the Kingdom won the belts. So, again, you don't want them to lose them because they just won the belts. But if you were going to have them lose the belts, War Machine is a hell of a team to lose them to. And finally, the World Championship is Jay Lethal defends with Truth Martinez at ringside against AJ Styles. And it's interesting. This will be very interesting because both of these men are at Wrestle Kingdom 10 regardless. So it depends on what they want to do for Elgin. If they want to have Elgin and Lethal, Lethal retains. If they want to have Elgin and Styles, which would be a hell of a match, then AJ Styles will win the match. And AJ recently as a former IWGP Heavyweight Champion. So it depends on what they want to do, because recently there's been rumors of AJ being injured. I doubt he's injured at this point, because he's going to do Final Battle, he's going to do Wrestle Kingdom 10. So it depends on what they want to do. It depends if they want to have Styles as the champion in the Wrestle Kingdom 10. It really depends on Wrestle Kingdom 10 at this point. But at the end of the day, fucking Final Battle is this Friday, and this could be the show of the year.